Hey, hello, and welcome to this week's podcast from what's new on the net.com. Yet another Sunday and yet another bulletin on global technology news. In the studio is your favorite host, Saurabh Goswala. And here is the news. The biggest news of this week, of course. No guesses. Yes, it was Twitter being bought by Elon Musk. No other digital event in the last few years has led to such a public debate than this. Social media was full of it, of course, with the memes around Musk and all that stuff. Twitter, Inc. announced that it had entered into a definitive agreement to be acquired by an entity wholly owned by Elon Musk for US $54.20 per share in cash in a transaction valued at approximately $44 billion. What's more, upon completion of the transaction, Twitter will become a privately held company. Now, the world waits to see the direction Musk takes Twitter in. There's speculation that he may replace the CEO and bring in a new team, but for now, all that is just that. Speculation. Tune into this podcast every week to get a follow-up on this developing story. Here's a question for all my listeners. Which is the most popular app in the world? Well, if you were to believe analytics and research firm Sensor Tower, it is TikTok. The short-form video sharing app TikTok was the most downloaded app worldwide in first 3 months of 2022. According to the Store Intelligence data for Q1 2022 report, TikTok was downloaded more than 175 million times from January 1st through March 31st, 2022. TikTok surpassed Instagram as the most downloaded app. Since 2018, no app has been downloaded more than TikTok, which now has more than 3.5 billion all-time downloads. This makes it just the fifth app to reach this milestone and first not under the Meta umbrella. Within the US, TikTok has been the top app each quarter since the beginning of 2021. Snap of Snapchat fame has done something interesting. Snap has introduced Pixie, a flying camera, to aid Snapchat users. Pixie is a pocket-sized, free-flying sidekick to Snap. Snap announced that with the simple tap of a button, Pixie flies in 4 preset flight paths. This drone can float, orbit, and follow wherever you lead, without a controller or any setup. And Pixie finds its home in your hand, landing gently at the end of the flight. Videos from flights are wirelessly transferred and saved into Snapchat memories. From there, members can use Snapchat's editing tools, lenses, and sounds to customize what they have captured. What do you think? Will this succeed as an idea? Why don't you send in your comments? The New York Times reported an interesting story on Thursday. It said the White House announced that the United States and over 55 other nations had pledged to strengthen democracy online by not shutting down access to the internet, using algorithms to illegally spy on citizens, or using misinformation campaigns to undermine elections. The pledge is not legally binding, but the countries, including Ukraine, Argentina and New Zealand, said in the document that it should be used as a reference for public policymakers, as well as citizens, businesses and civil society organizations. Biden administration officials said the pledge, called the Declaration for the Future of the Internet, helped to serve as a counterpoint to countries, like China and Russia, that try to wall off the internet from the rest of the world.
Here is a shout-out to founders, co-founders, CEOs, CTOs and C-suite guys of tech unicorns, businesses and startups around the world. Come share your business story on our weekly podcast. CEO Speak is a new slot we have introduced in which the top management of tech companies can tell the rest of their community of their success, their struggles, and so on. Plus, as a bonus, the same will also be published on our website what'snewonthenet.com. Get your invite by writing into us at what'snewonthenet.com@gmail.com.
And now to our startups segment. Almost all of us look to Wikipedia as a fountainhead of information. Now, somebody has created a search engine for wiki content, called Wiki. Click it not only searches Wikipedia for the content you want but also, and get this, crunches all the relevant information in a brief manner for you. That's wiki.click for you.
A word of caution. Listeners are strongly advised to do their due diligence before buying or downloading any of the startups featured here. Startup profiles are only for information purposes, and this podcast does not vouch for any of their features.
Okay, folks, with that, we are at the end of this week's podcast. Hope you have liked it. Please show some love by pressing the like button. And do not forget to subscribe. This is your host Saurabh Gaswala signing off for now. Until we meet next weekend. Bye.